In case you don't know who I am, my name is Dov Barron. I'm the founder of FullMontyLeadership.com, and I am one of Inc. magazine's top leadership speakers to hire. I'm write for Entrepreneur Magazine, Medium, and a bunch of other outlets. And I also am a leadership speaker and consultant working with many top organizations in helping them to retain their top talent. In fact, we can show you how to reduce your attrition from the top talent, how to stop that from dwindling, how to get it back to so that your people stay with you. We can show you how to do that in as little as 90 days. Get it down from somewhere between 20 and 60%. Pretty cool. All right, let's jump right in, because today's subject is the subject of leadership and how great leaders are embracing divorce. Shocking, huh? How great leaders are embracing divorce. Well, one of the things I said right at the opening there was that we help companies, organizations, and leaders in showing them how to have their top people stay with them, how to stop all that loss of great talent and make sure that your top people actually stay with you. So what do you do to make that happen? Well, you embrace divorce. Here's what I mean by that. This is interesting for you to consider for a moment. If we think about the divorce rate today, I know this might seem like it's off subject, but I promise you it's not. If you think about the divorce rate today, and I ask you what is the divorce rate today, you're likely to tell me, most people do, that it's around 50%. In fact, it's a little bit lower than that. It's just about 48, 49%. And part of the reason for that, of course, is that less people are getting married, and it's not that the divorce rate is actually going down, it's actually the marriage rate has come down. So, but why am I talking about divorce in the context of leadership? I want to share that with you because I think it's a powerful, powerful insight for you to grasp. As many of you know, my wife and I are business partners, and we owned a public seminar company for many, many years. And it was amazing work. We did fabulous work and made some tremendous changes in working with the public and individuals. It was powerful. And one of the programs that we taught was a program on conscious relationship, what it took to have a really conscious relationship, to have a relationship that was deeply fulfilling. And we outlined that of the stages of a relationship, that all relationships go through certain stages. And that when I say all relationships, I want you to understand that I'm not talking about all in the context of romance, but all relationships. Your relationship with your boss, your relationship with your employees, your relationship with anyone in any format. It has certain stages. All relationships have certain stages. And if you understand those stages, then you can understand the quality of your relationship, and you can understand how to develop the relationship from that place. However, here's what I want you to understand. We taught that program from a place that was quite surprising for a lot of people, because at the beginning of the program, we said this. We said, if you want to have a really successful relationship, you better understand that many of the things you've learned about relationship don't work. And it's not my opinion. I've got the stats to prove that it doesn't work. So what do I mean by that? Think about it for a minute. What is one of the simple rules we've all been taught about relationship? What are one of the simplest rules you've been taught about relationship? If you're going to have a great relationship, you better learn how to compromise, right? We're all told that. But I want you to just go look up the word compromise for a minute. If you get a moment, take a look at that word. Go look at it in the dictionary. And there are several definitions, but one of them is to weaken. So why would you want to weaken your relationship? Why would you want to have a relationship that gets weakened by what it is that you're doing in the relationship? It's crazy. You don't want to weaken your relationship, you want to strengthen your relationship. So that's one of the poor things about the messages we get about having great relationships. So what does that mean in the context of leadership? It means this. In the context of leadership, It means where are you compromising in who you choose to be on your team. You're going to weaken your business, you're going to weaken your team if you don't have the right people, as Jim Collins used to say, the right people on the bus. You have to be uncompromising in that process. You have to be willing to not accept anyone who is not fully, absolutely, and totally right for your company. You have to be willing to let those kinds of people go, no matter how shiny an object they seem to be. You think about that in the context of being single, that somebody's very attractive, and so you have even though you kind of know that your values don't match, even though you kind of know things are not quite right between the two of you, but God, they're gorgeous, and so you end up in a relationship, but you're completely compromising the truth of who you are. When you know the purpose of your organization, when you know the purpose of who you are, when you understand those things, you then start to develop your maxims about who you are, about the relationship, and about the business itself. And having anybody else in that company working with you who does not align with that purpose means you are compromised. You have weakened the organization. And it's time for a divorce. Which brings me to my next point, which is simply this. One of the premises we taught our relationship program on was this, that if you're going to have a highly successful relationship, and what I mean by that is the kind of relationship that is just extraordinarily rare, the kind of relationship that people would ask my wife and I about the quality of our relationship, and we would often answer it in a way that would be very surprising to people because they wouldn't actually hear the entire thing. So people would say to us, what is the secret to your relationship? Now, by the way, just to be very clear, our relationship is not perfect. There's no such thing as that. Do we have disagreements? Sure. Do we have conflicts? Absolutely. Do we always get along? No, of course not. It's not about that. But here's the thing that I want you to grasp. So people ask us, what is the secret to your relationship? Now, there's a couple of things that really stand out about how we do relationship different than other people. But this one is the one I want you to grasp, and it relates to divorce. It's this. Now, unfortunately, most people will only hear the first half of this, but it's important that you hear both halves. So when people would say to us, well, what is the secret to your relationship? We would say, divorce is always an option. And people would be like, grasp their breath. Oh my goodness, really? I would thought divorce would never be an option for you two. How can you possibly say that? That's only the first half. Divorce is always an option for my partner. What does that mean? It means in the context of a relationship, it means I better treat my partner with the love and the respect and the compassion and all the things that are necessary. I must be willing to have the highest level of quality of communication in my relationship because divorce is always an option for my wife. She can always find somebody who will treat her in the way that she truly deserves to be treated, which is spectacularly. Divorce is always an option for my partner. So that means I can never take her for granted. But she carries the same message, that divorce is always an option for her partner. So she can't take me for granted. And so we treat each other with a lot of mutual respect, with a lot of deep respect and compassion and all the things that it takes. And we are uncompromising about doing so. This is what's key for you to grasp for a moment here. So as a leader, what does this mean to you? What does it mean about how you lead? Well, we, as you know, live in a time where there is a battle, if you will, for talent. Many of the top companies are really struggling to keep their top talent working with them, to stop them from moving away, to have them stick with them. So how do you do that? How do you keep your top talent? You understand this. Divorce is always an option for them. Of course, it's an option for you. You can fire them. But it's not one-sided. Divorce is always an option for them. meaning they can always walk away. They can always find somebody who will treat them in the way that they want and need to be treated. So as a leader, it is your responsibility to treat them with the love, the kindness, the respect, the recognition that they deserve. That's one of the ways that you truly keep your top talent, is keep in mind that divorce is always an option for them, not just you. This making sense to you? I really hope so. So, this is Dov Barron, FullMontyLeadership.com, encouraging you to stay curious, my friend. Stay curious. If you are taking your top talent for granted, if you're assuming that they're going to stick with you, because I want you to remember, divorce is always an option for both of you. Till next time, this is Dov Barron, Leadership Unscripted, and I am out.